Hey, how's it going, everybody? Thanks for checking out our video today. So I wanted to talk about this project that we have in the shop right now. Kind of go over a few things on what we're doing on this one. So this one's a 1949 Ford F1 pickup truck. And it does have a Chevrolet small block 350 in it and a turbo 350 transmission. So this is actually the motor that we pulled out of it, and it was in pretty rough shape. So you can see a freeze plug there kind of leaking. We went ahead and popped a hole in this one just to drain coolant out of the block. The cranking all looks good. It had one cylinder that had no compression at all. It had 3 cylinders that were between 40 to 60. And then the other ones were right around 100, 115. So we did that first before we did anything else to it. So the story on this is, got a customer that's got this. He's had this thing for years, long time, 30 years, whatever, 25, 30 years. And he used to, drive it and have fun with it. It's had a stall converter in it, had a nice cam in it. It's got a shifter on the floor, automatic, like I say, turbo 350. And it ran pretty good. This thing does not weigh that much. I'm really surprised how light this thing is. So it's been sitting in a field for a very long time. And he's retired now, and he's obviously not going to sell it. He didn't want to spend $30,000 or whatever to get a whole nother one completely done. So he wanted to get this thing running again and drivable. He doesn't really care about what it looks like, because it does look kind of rough, as you can see. It's got different stages of paint that's been put on it, and it's starting to flake off. But he just wants to get the foundation of it completely drivable. So originally we wasn't even thinking about the motor, because he says that the motor was running. And I said, well, it's been sitting a long time, let's check it. And sure enough, the motor, we got to rebuild the motor, obviously. So it did have some, it looks like it was about a early 70s motor with the heads and everything, low compression. So we're going to rebuild the motor. It's a stock bore. We're going to go 30 over. We're going to put some aluminum heads on it, put a roller cam in it. We're not going to do flat tappet cam. We don't do flat tappets no more. We just got to do a roller cam. He already had a nice intake carburetor. We're going to rebuild a carburetor. It did have headers on it, but they're pretty rusted. So we're going to try to find another set of headers just like it, have them coated, and we're going to shoot for about 400 horsepower. He wants to run low octane gas. He don't want to spend the money on 93, so we're going to shoot for around 9-to-1 compression, something like that. So anyway, all the suspension on it we're redoing. All the brakes, kingpins were wore out. Surprisingly, the tie rod ends and the steering link is good. So somebody must have changed them some time ago. So we're not changing the tie rod ends, we're not changing the steering link. All that's nice and tight, but the kingpins were wore out. The bearings on the front hubs were good. We're just gonna repack them. But it's drum brakes all the way around. So we did have to get a new rotor, or listen to me, rotor. We got a new drum for the back. Parking brake cable seized up and tore it up pretty bad. Went metal to metal on the back shoes. So we got a new drum for the back. We got all the other drums resurfaced. We got new parking brake cables we got the 2 in the back that are new. The 1 in the front that goes to the handle, we got a new one. New brake hoses, wheel cylinders, all the springs, hardware kits that holds the shoes in place. The back lights, I'll show you. I got a whole stuff here, a bunch of stuff on the floor I'll show you. But the lights on this thing this one is still attached, I guess. working or not, but this one's busted up. All the wiring on this thing was handmade wiring. So we're doing a complete wiring harness from American Autowire. So look, we already got the wheel cylinder on this side, we got the wheel cylinder on the other side, we got these cleaned up. I went with new shocks, KYBs on the back. We got new KYBs going on the front. I've already got the kingpins out. This one was a pain in the butt to get out. The other side, it came right out, like no problem at all. It came right out. Here's the spindle and the old kingpin. There's the old shocks that were on the front. I just laid the stuff on the floor. We're doing a new master cylinder because this one is, I don't even want to take a chance on it. We got a new master. We got everything new all the way to the back because the master comes by itself. So we are going to have to use this. I'm going to have to take that out and clean that up. But we got new switches and everything. So anyway, yeah, this one here, man, it was really tough getting out. We could not get it budged at all, even heating it up. So what I ended up doing was there's a little bit of a slit in here that the bolt goes through. Once you drive that in, the bolt goes through here and holds that pin in. And what I found was this thing was burred up pretty bad, and it had a lip on it. So I had to go inside this hole with my little rat tail. Let me see here. I think I put it up. Yeah, I basically had to go inside the hole with my little rat tail porting bit, and I didn't touch the hole at all. I was real careful, basically to grind this. And once I got that ground down a little bit, I was able to get it to move. And I worked it back and forth. And we were using our ball joint tool. This was basically just a little too big to go inside the bushing. So I just I'd put a nut in here. So the nut was small enough to go through the hole. And once it popped loose, I just kept, getting a longer bolt. Then I ended up getting some sleeves and was putting in there. Once I got it out far enough, then I was able to use air hammer to drive it on out. So this one took a while, man. I am so glad it's out. Now I'm gonna have to get the bushings out. Once I drive the bushings out, clean everything up real good, we'd be driving some new ones in. But as you can see, it's a little bit rough. It's really rusted, but man, it's solid though. I mean, the frame is not rusted through at all. It's just surface rust. So, but yeah, like here's the brake cable for the front. You can see it's not in good shape at all. That's why we're changing all of that. I still got to unhook it from the inside. I just kind of laid everything this way so I could get in there. I had to get the the master cylinder out. So here is a bunch of parts I got laid on the ground here. Those are the back parking brake cables. That big one right there is going to be the front parking brake cable. Here's the kingpin kit. So yeah, I'm going to have to be careful putting them in so I don't mess them up. Front shocks. We even got this is an inside dome light that came in these things. It basically just bolted to the roof up in the center, and you run a hot wire to it and it's got its own switch. So I went ahead and got one of them. We got some new tail lights. This is everything that the truck should have. The brackets that hold the tail lights on, those lights don't have brackets on them. And then these are just wire loom that, I'll show you, the wires come out of the lights like that, and then they just loop down and go up and disappear up into the back there, which you can cut this to fit so it's not hanging so low, of course. But I got 2 of those. Here's the brake hoses. I got the 2 front brake hoses. I got the one on the back that goes from the body down to the rear end. These are the front wheel cylinders. There is a left and a right. Like I say, the back ones are already put on. Here's all the spring kits for the brakes. Those are the ones that hold them on. These are the ones that pull them back to center. And then these are the ones that go along the bottom that hold the adjuster in place. Here's the brake light switch. The brake light switch, all of this goes on the back of the master cylinder. See, here's the new master. Like I say, I got to get that bar, I got to clean it all up real good and reuse it. But all of this goes on the back. Here's the washers. That goes on the nut, and then this screws onto the back of that. So anyway, what I was talking about is the switch obviously goes on the back of the master cylinder. This is actually a brake light switch, and it has this adapter that goes on there as well. That's where the brake lines screw into, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, I got all of those. We got these are the wheel bearing seals for the front. Got the drums resurfaced, got the new drum, as you can see, all the other good stuff. So over here we have the wiring kit. This is really cool. So this is an American Autowire kit. Flip this here. So the part number on this one is a 510760. 510760. This is a universal kit. It comes with pretty much everything, man. It's got the relay, fuse block. It's got an ignition switch, starter kit. Comes with, like I say, the switch. It comes with a light switch. This is a steering column and turn signal connector kit, which this truck doesn't have turn signals. They didn't have them back then. But we can actually add that. We probably will. And we'll have to put some lights on the front because it doesn't have parking lights on the front, only headlights. The back lights in the back will obviously accept turn signals. So this is the main wiring harness. It's got 2 maxi fuses. One would be to the battery, one would be for the alternator. This is a gauge connection kit for all the gauges, which we're doing aftermarket gauges. Here's the alternator kit. These are just connectors. Ignition switch with the key. Headlight switch. This is the dimmer switch for the floor, and an accessory connection kit, headlight switch connection kit, which this also includes the tail lights too. So everything has got, they already got all the plugs on them, so they would actually plug into the all the switches, harness, everything that this kit has. It's already wired up with their connectors. The only thing we have to do is wire up to the designated, parts. So this is an extra long wiring kit, and we'll be mounting the fuse relay box up under the dash, of course, and then running everything from there. So like I say, the brake light switch, instead of it being on the pedal, it's on the master cylinder, and that is up underneath on the floor. So that won't really be a big deal. The wires are plenty long to get there. So yeah, I went ahead and took this light out just to see. It's an old 3-prong style, and this is the original 3-prong on these. And like I say, somebody had made their own wiring on this truck years ago. Everything was taped up, you know, it was really a mess. That's why we're doing a complete new wiring kit. The wiper motor is still a vacuum controlled wiper motor. It's all vacuum. It doesn't work. So we're going to go with a, they make a conversion kit. It's an electric wiper motor, and it comes with the wiper switch that actually mounts in the stock location on the dash. So that'd be cool. We'll be putting that on there, and of course we'll be wiring it in to the fuse box here. So yeah, that's kind of cool. I just wanted to let you guys know or show you kind of what's going on here. As you can see in the bed, the bed's got the hood, tailgate, radiator, headers. We're going to do, I think those are hooker headers. So we're going to try to get the exact same header and have them coated, because those are just rusted up real bad. Okay, so got a little work done on the old Ford F1, the old pickup here. So just want to show you guys kind of what I've got done so far. Went ahead and, let me shine a light on the subject here. Went ahead and got the shocks on. These KYBs actually fit perfect. They don't really have any part numbers out for these front shocks. There are some specialty houses like LMC Truck that show that they have some, but they don't give you a part number. And I think it was LMC Truck that showed the back shocks that were KYBs. So what I did is I went on KYB's website, and I found the type of mount that these have, which are just your standard mount. I forget what the actual code is for these mounts, but they're the same for the top and the bottom. And they're exactly the same on the back too. Same style mount, I should say. So what I did is once I figured out which mounts were on the back, shit, I gotta clean these up. Got my handprints on them a little bit. So these I was able to get the part numbers from, and these are a little bit shorter than the front. So I did measure the complete extension with the suspension completely unloaded, and then, you know, the suspension loaded. So I got these, and then since I was able to find the correct type of mounts, top and bottom, I went on KYB's website and basically found the exact shocks that I needed for the front, you know, lengthwise as far as extension and collapse. So that was really cool, because I get a good price on these. You know, obviously we don't really need to spend a whole bunch of money on shocks on this truck, since we're not doing a full restoration. So like I say, the tie rod ends are definitely been replaced some time ago, because they're nice and tight. There's no excessive play in them at all, and they take grease, which is really good. So I didn't replace them. Same with this. These were in great shape. There's no excessive play, and they take grease. The spring shackles, there was no excessive play in these, and they take grease all the way through. So that was really cool. So I went ahead and, you know, got them all greased up. There's no sense in replacing them. There's going to be so much money spent on this truck between the electrical, the brakes, and then now having to rebuild the motor, and we're going to rebuild the transmission. Like I say, you know, we're going to throw a little bit of power to this thing. Nothing crazy. It's going to be a fun little truck, you know. It's not going to look the best, but it'll be a nice sleeper for sure. So yeah, that was really cool that these didn't have no excessive play, and they took grease all the way through. So that is a good deal right there. So yeah, I got the shocks on both sides, front and rear. I got the brakes down in the back. I got the kingpins, the bushings in. So all I got to do is just you know, get the spindles on, get the kingpins back in, and then I got to throw the backing plate on and get the front brakes on. I've already got the back brakes on. I had to do a little bit of, so I did have to get all the new springs, new wheel cylinders, you know, parking brake cables, I got them on. I had to do a little bit of work on this. This bolt here was not tight. It would not tighten up, so I had to cut it out and put a new bolt in there. It had to be a low profile bolt too, so it wouldn't, damn, let me see if I can get you. Yeah, so it had to be a low profile bolt so it wouldn't hit that arm right there. So I've got these on, got them adjusted. All I got to do is go ahead and put the front cable on. It goes from here all the way to the handle inside. That's going to be my next deal. I got the master cylinder on. It went on pretty good. Got the brake light switch in. That's where it goes. This is a three-way block for the brake lines. You have one that goes to the back, and then the other two go to the front. So this does not have a proportioning valve. So when you adjust these brakes, you just got to make sure that the back ones are not locking up before the fronts. Let me get over here. You can see cables in, everything else is in, wheel cylinders, springs. I gotta tell you, man, these springs were a little bit of a pain in the butt to get in. You know, they are aftermarket. They were definitely tight. I got everything lubed up real good. The backing plates are clean and lubed up. The adjusters, I had to do a little bit. This was not the right adjuster that they had in there, so I had to kind of grind it down and then recut some teeth for adjusting. But it's working fine, so that's cool. You know, there's the one new drum. I got this side adjusted for the new drum. I've got this side adjusted for the old drum that's been resurfaced. So my next thing is I'm gonna go ahead and do the front parking brake cable all the way to the front. I'm gonna get it hooked up, and so I had to do a little bit of modification here too. So this is the brake pedal comes down. Oh, I still got to grease that. So I cleaned up this adjustable rod. I've got it on there. The spring, they actually had this return spring just hooked in on one of these holes over here at an angle. I'm not sure why. There's supposed to be a bracket here of some sort. It might be because of the headers. This thing had long tube headers on it. So I made a bracket. This, you know, it doesn't stick out very far. Got it bolted here. Got it, you know, the spring on it so it returns. And then this was already cut. They cut it with a torch. Hope you can see that. This is the clutch arm, because it was a stick shift, obviously. Now it's got a turbo 350 automatic. So it was just flopping around in the way, so I put a bracket on it and got it secure. I was gonna go ahead and cut it on off, but you know, I like, screw it. It's gonna be easier for me to just put a bracket on there. There's already a hole in the frame. So I just put a bracket on it and it's nice and tight. And that's it for that. So yeah. So I got a little bit done. I want to get the brake line, or get the front parking brake cable hooked up, and get these all done, get the front brakes done, and then that way I can get it on the ground. Once I get it on the ground, probably going to push it out. I don't think I'm going to do any wiring on this thing yet. Probably going to push it out because I've got another car scheduled to come in, and then I've already got this car in here behind me. This is a Mercury Zephyr. It's got a 5.0 roller motor in it out of a Fox body, carbureted, and we'll have a video on this one. I've got all the parts, all them boxes up there are all the parts for this car. We're doing a top end kit, cam. We're doing one of our top end kits, I should say. Cam heads, roller rockers. You know, we got a badass intake, a good carburetor going on it. We got a quick fuel brawler carburetor, 650 double pumper. Shorty headers, and it's a stick shift car, so we'll have a new clutch going in it. We got to change the fuel tank. We've already got the tank. Customer supplied us with the tank. Putting a manual rack and pinion in it, getting rid of the power steering rack. This one it should make about 400 horsepower, so it'll be a fun project. We're going to be starting on that next week, possibly, and then we've got 2 other ones coming in, so we're kind of real busy. I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off here. This will be part 2 of this build. We still got a lot to do on this deal, so there'll be another 3-4 parts, maybe part 5. We don't know. We'll see how it goes. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off here. Appreciate you guys checking in. Don't forget, please like, subscribe to the channel, leave some comments, and share. We got a lot of builds coming up that we will be having on our YouTube channel. So appreciate it. Catch you all in the next video.